Hi submarine friends. Well, you can see my progress here. I have the conning tower nozzle welded up. I still have to grind off all the original weld from when I harvested this from the previous submarine, but that's just a matter of a couple hours of grinding. I also have to remove all the paint off this nozzle. Now the nozzle is actually sunk down into the vessel by 2 inches. And that's to give it more strength. I was very super lucky. This did not warp, at least not that I can tell so far. And I've also decided that if this did warp a little bit, it's actually less work for me to build a flange facing machine. I've done it before. I've built hydraulic flange facing machines to cut both bevels and flat surfaces much bigger than this. So I could build a hand-driven flange-facing machine to true up this surface where the acrylic cylinder sits. So that's another subject, is the acrylic cylinder. I have to decide for sure if I want to use the acrylic cylinder rather than build a new conning tower section with flat windows. Now the reason for that is, when you look through a round acrylic cylinder, you can get headaches. What you see is distorted, underwater particularly. So I have to do some experimenting. I have to sit in the cylinder and pay attention to how I feel when I'm looking out the cylinder. It's not a big deal either way, and I can actually build this so that I can swap the cylinder out for a metal conning tower with flat windows, because it all just bolts together on an EPDM rubber gasket, so it's really no big deal. So I can go either way on that. Plus, I could get a greater depth rating with the steel conning tower and hatch. Not that I care about that. So the next step right now, today, is I'm going to install the first ring and possibly the second ring, see how it goes. Those have to go in first. And the reason is, this is now slightly out of round from cutting this hole for the nozzle. You don't want to cut the hole and then build this and try and fit it to this hole. That would be foolish, because if this is off, it's not going to fit the hole. You're better off to build this piece, then cut the hole, fit it to sink in, then the rings go in. It all has to be done in the right order, because we can't get the rings in and true up the hull if this is in. So the next step, put in those rings. I don't have to put in the T section of the ring, just the heavy 5/8 rib that goes inside. You can see also I've cut the end of the hull off to the correct length. Now I did that so that it's easy access to work inside here. Obviously there was a whole section that goes back on the front at a later date. This just makes it really nice to work on. And I had to cut it anyway, so this just works out really nice. So that's the plan for today. Ciao.